We arrived very early in the morning in the airport and decided to sleep inside until the sun rose. We were cold inside, and I had my jacket and hat on. When we woke up in the morning, we realized that the airport was cold, only due to air conditioning. The temperature in the twilight outside was already quite hot and humid. I was determined to walk everywhere in Sri Lanka. I thought that such a small place would be interesting to explore by foot. George was not very keen on the idea. He was not comfortable carrying his backpack everywhere and was not certain if we would find suitable camping areas. I began walking nonetheless. As always, we were accosted by taxi drivers. They persisted in trying to get us to take their offers. We did not have a working phone plan. George convinced me to at least get a taxi to the nearest beach. This is what we ended up doing, and straight away we went for a swim. We realized after swimming, though, that we had chosen an area near a local water outlet, and a black stream was mixing with the waves in that vicinity. Maybe this was the cause of the cough that began to plague me over the next 2 weeks. After our swim, we walked up the road and looked at some bicycles that were on rent. They were not the quality that we would need for touring. We kept walking and found a restaurant that was open and decided to have breakfast. Both of us found that between the heat and the stomach issues that we had acquired in Meghalaya, we were unable to eat much of what we ordered. While we were eating, a young local came to us and offered to sell us ganja. The man in the cafe warned us that such things are dangerous to possess in Sri Lanka. The man was a bit overbearing, and he persuaded us to take up accommodation at a friend's new homestay. It was expensive compared to our usual price range and very fine. We spent a long time trying to sleep in the sweltering heat of the tropics. When we did venture out into public, we found that people were either strongly persistent that we purchase items from their shops, or were not interested in speaking to us at all. One man stopped on his bicycle to talk to us. He asked where we were from. He was excited to hear that George is from Australia. He pulled an Australian coin from his wallet. He asked us if we had any more. We told him that we did not. He then asked us for money. He said that his wife has cancer and that his baby needs milk. We felt as though he was trying to scam us and told him that we did not have what he wanted. Even our host was not very talkative or friendly beyond what was necessary to see to our needs. We boarded a train and headed south. It was a long train ride. Early in the day, salespeople would come aboard and present their merchandise, and small snack vendors would stroll through to offer refreshments. One man started a conversation with me and told me about the Civil War. He said that it was a disagreement over people from Tamil taking jobs from the local Lankan people. He said that most people are Buddhist, while some are Christians or Muslim. I asked if they were peaceful. He said yes. The train line ran very close to the ocean, and most of the coast was dominated by guest houses. We transferred to another train along the way and found that it was packed. We used our bags as seats in a small empty corner. It was dark outside now, and we were getting close to our stop when the train changed directions, began heading back the way it had come. I was impatient, and the next time the train stopped, George and I jumped off. I was surprised when I realized that it was not actually a train station at all, but just a road crossing. I wanted to see the beach, so we walked past a Buddhist shrine beneath a fig tree that I had seen earlier that day. Just as we were cutting through a beachside cafe, a dog ran up to us barking and bit George's leg. 3 men came over from a table nearby and helped George wash his leg. There was no puncture wound, and they assured us that the dog had been vaccinated. They bade us sit down and gave us each a menu. The chef was eager for us to have reef fish for dinner, so much so that he brought out the fish for us to see. We decided that we would go with his suggestion, and were happy that we did so. It was cooked well and tasted quite nice. They asked us if we had a reservation for the night at a local guest house. We told them that we did not, and asked if they could recommend some cheap accommodation. They were unsure. We said we were happy to camp on the beach, and at first they seemed all right with this. They even said that we could sleep on the beach chairs under the awning nearby. However, they changed their mind and urged us to go home with the cafe owner to stay in his home, lest we be robbed or burglarized during the night. We were hesitant, but ended up going with the man to his home. When we got there, we met his wife and daughter and were given each a beer. We were tired, though, and the family had an early day the next day. The daughter showed us to a bed that she said we could stay in as long as we wanted. I asked her if this was her bed. She said yes. I asked her where she would sleep for the night. She said she would sleep with her mother. I felt strange to receive such courteous accommodation from our new acquaintances. The household was astir as early as 5 a.m. The mother made sweets to sell at the market, the father left for market, the mother swept the whole garden around the house, the daughter chopped vegetables for the restaurant and made us tea. Most of this happened while we were still in bed. Whatever illness that was now taking hold of me was very similar to a serious flu. In the next few days we woke up, went to the family's cafe, then returned to their home in the evening to sleep. I tried to offer my help around the house to our hostess and her daughter, but they did not want help, nor were they keen to spend time with us. Obviously, our lack of ability to communicate with made any conversation impossible. Later, I learned that there are likely class mindsets in Sri Lanka that guide social interactions. They probably felt uneasy about being too friendly with white travelers. The daughter knew some small amount of English, but she was very shy and was kept busy with her household chores. We instead spent a lot of time speaking to the restaurant chef and the old man who leased the land to the restaurant owner. The old man told us that the Dutch invasion had forever changed Sri Lanka. Tourism was growing before the Civil War and had continued to grow after it ended. People had moved from their villages to the more populated areas to begin businesses or work for already established tourist industries. He told us that there was a tsunami that hit in the past. In those days he had a small fruit stall and several boats. One day a man came to tell him that the water was rising and he rushed to save his boats. Soon he was wedged between the boats and the tops of the beachfront palm trees, an incident that broke both of his legs and one of his arms. Today he still has swollen feet with disfigured toes. He says that he has trouble with pain and numbness in the feet. Often he will trod on a nail or a piece of glass and not notice it until there is an infection in the wound. After his boats and fruit stand were lost, along with thousands of lives, there were many charities that sent money, but a lot of it went missing. The government gave some 500 rupees to each person to help with losses and repairs. He began selling ganja to earn money. It was not long until he was caught with large amounts of his supply and taken into custody at the local jail. His wife would bring him ganja there, and he sold it to the guards and inmates. Now he rents his land to the restaurant owner. The restaurant gets very few customers. Each time a person passes, the old man and the chef wave them over and try to make conversation. They bring out the menus and hope someone makes an order. Menus at places like this are very unusual. They list all kinds of foods, so many that you are befuddled by the variety. Then, when you order, you find that there are maybe one or two things that are actually available. We lived on a diet that consisted mainly of fruit drinks. One of my favorite fruits of the area was wood apple. It's a hard, brown, round fruit that is cracked, and from the inside a tamarind-like flavored pulp is scooped. It was delicious. During our days of rest at the restaurant, we saw a monitor and a big black snake. The old man told us about signs that used to be made by weaving the different colors of palm fronds together. Sometimes when we go swimming, the old man would tell us to put our bags somewhere he could watch them. He was very concerned about thieves. The harsh shore break there would catch me off guard, and often I would have my head filled with sand. One day, while George was swimming, I decided to walk along the beach for a while in search of shells. While I was walking, a man came to me and asked if I would come with him and have sex. I told him that I would not and told him to leave. He left and went to one of the cafes down the beach from the restaurant where we were staying. I was glad that the man was persuaded so easily to leave, but the situation made me cautious of being alone in Sri Lanka. One night, George and I saw a function going on down the beach from us, and we decided to go have a look. It was some kind of reception, maybe. We were on our way back when several dogs started following us. On the beach, there were no sticks or rocks to protect us, so we cautiously kept ahead of the group of dogs and yelled at them when they got too close. We talked to the old man about going to the rainforest north of the cafe. He warned us that there had been rapes and murders in that area. We decided then to move down the beach to another guest house. We did not want to overstay our welcome with the family, and we were eager to see some new scenery. The old man said that we should go and return in the evening. He said that we had not seen anything in the area of the cafe and that we should not leave without doing so. We assured him that meeting him, the chef, and the owner of the restaurant was enough to make our stay worthwhile. We had been in no state of health for sightseeing, anyways. The old man seemed to be trying to find excuses to keep us at the cafe. Seeing as the chef was in a piece rate based service position, it was understandable that they did not want us to leave. We gave the family money for our stay in their home. We tipped the chef and gave him some Australian money to show his family. We got on a bus.